What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for episode 2 of our Unpopular Opinion series. And let's get straight into it, starting off with Yo-Yo saying that the sheer amount of hate Galini is getting from the fan base is undeserved.
I don't think it's hate, but I think he hasn't been great when he has played, or hasn't been convincing, I would say. I don't think he's given like fair chance, but when was his last game? The Chelsea semi-final where he made a big mistake for the goal. So that obviously going to stick in people's minds, and he hasn't shown that enough to that when he has played that he could be on number one, has he? Let's be honest. But then again, it's hard to judge keeper without getting a run of games, is it?
Yeah, I know. And I think that when you compare him to Gazzaniga, I think whenever Gazzaniga came in for the odd game here and there, he did impress. It was always when he had a long stretch of games where he got found out a little bit.
True.
And Galini, when he comes in for the odd game, he doesn't impress. So I think when you're comparing the two keepers, I'd prefer probably Gazzaniga to still be here as our number 2 than probably Galini to be here.
Yeah, but hate. I don't think he deserves any hate.
No,
but yeah, I think people just calling out as they see it. He hasn't been great.
I think that goalkeeping qualities aside, he looks like a good character to be around the team. He looks always happy, and he looks like he's struck up some sort of bromance with a few of the players in the team. And I can't remember who it was, but one of the players was talking about how much of a good atmosphere he is in the dressing room. So that's one thing, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't expect him to be here beyond this season.
Agreed. Next one is Spurs Extra. He says, Eric Dyer has been playing better than Romero recently. Also, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg had a better performance than Bentancur on Monday night, which is the 5-0 victory over Everton. That's interesting if we think Højbjerg played better than Bentancur. I did think Højbjerg was actually pretty good. I just think Bentancur, maybe he just did a few more noticeable things rather than actually being more effective. Because Højbjerg, I think, had a quietly good game. Sometimes one of those games where you go unnoticed, but in a good way. Like you're just quietly doing your job.
I think Højbjerg laid a lot of the foundations in the midfield that let the team do what they did on Monday night. So he does have a strong case for that in terms of Højbjerg. I do think Bentancur, as much as he provides really positively for the team, I think that he does get caught quite often in the middle of the park with his like very laid-back attitude. So I think he's got to have a look at that. But apart from that, I'm really happy with Bentancur. I think he's top quality player. In terms of Eric Dyer playing better than Romero, I actually agree with that. I think that Romero's top level performances in the last couple of weeks are better than Dyer, but consistently, on a whole, I think Dyer has been better than Romero.
Yeah, since he's come back into the team, I think I agree with that. I think he doesn't get as many yellow cards, that's for sure. But I feel like he allows Romero to play a bit more naturally in terms of his that way Romero likes to play, like composure on the ball, little tight passes, little dink passes into players near him. I think Dyer allows him to do that by being in the centre and being that leader. When he's not there, the Romero struggles a bit more, I feel.
Yeah, I think the fact of the matter is we're more likely to have a better defence with Dyer in that middle than with Romero there. We saw when Dyer was out, Romero put in that middle. It was so disorganised.
He loves to come charging in, and that's a good thing. But when he's playing down the centre and he misses a challenge, something it causes real problems.
They complement each other, but the defence actually can play without Romero on the odd game with Sanchez.
We saw that, didn't we? When Romero was out for a while, our defence didn't suffer as much. But when Dyer was out, look how much our defence suffered.
That's exactly what I'm saying, yeah. All right, let's move on to Yo-Yo again, saying the scouting has been much of a problem as ENIC have been, if not more. Believe it or not, we actually have been spending a lot of money on players only for them to flop. But at the end of the day, ENIC are responsible for the scouting department. So
I think it's true, we do spend, but the problem is we do it in the wrong way. We kind of push the boat out on panic buys. And we push the boat out when we're on deadline day when we haven't got anyone in, and yet when we are able to get people in we are able to get our number one choices in, we all of a sudden we're haggling over a couple million here and there. We end up missing out. Like Mane, we could have got him for 35 million. We're like, no, he's too expensive. And then it came to deadline, they were like, oh, we haven't signed anyone, so we panic bought Sissoko for 30 million. and we could have spent an extra 5 on Mane.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, we did spend in that instance, but we spent it in the wrong way, and that comes down to the approach that Levy and Enoch have always had towards transfers and how they deal with it.
Absolutely. Couldn't put it better myself. That's absolutely
How many
spot on.
times do we wait till dedeadline day for all these signings?
Every single window,
time,
probably
every
since
time.
Enoch have been here.
Exactly, every single time. And yeah, obviously we have done it in the right way a couple of times with like Ndombele and it hasn't worked out. But more often than not, like it works out where we just spend the money in the wrong way, and there seems to be a lack of strategy when we go into it. And I think Enoch are ahead of that, and it all comes down to them a lot of the time.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
Let's
move on.
All right, Don Conte says Kulusevski is a better signing than Luis Diaz, considering age and transfer fee.
Come on. I think that Luis Diaz is an absolute star in the making, and I think that he could potentially go on to be literally one of the best players in the world, in my opinion.
In the world?
Yeah, I really believe
wow,
that.
It's high praise.
The way I'm seeing him play at the moment, he's taken to the Premier League like a duck to water. Fair enough, so is Kulusevski. But I think that with his rapid pace that he has, with the close control, the trickery that he has, yes, he hasn't had the goal contribution output that Kulusevski has had so far. But when I'm looking at the two players, I think they're both top talents. But I think Luis Diaz has a higher ceiling.
But he's saying, how much did they sign Diaz for? 45 million, 50 million, was it? I can't remember.
It was about 50 something, yeah.
55 million?
Something like that.
Let's say it's 50 million. 26 years of age, or 25, 26 years of age, 50 million price tag, only 1 goal in his first 4 games. No, I don't think he's got an assist yet. Whereas Kulusevski's 21, 35, well, with 15 million euros for the loan, for a 35 million potentially could go to, for the full transfer, and he's got 3 assists and 2 goals in his first 4 games. He's doing well, isn't he, though, Kulu?
No, I'm not saying he's not doing well, and I love Kulu. I love my ginger from Sweden.
And he's got 5 years on Luis Diaz as well.
I know that, but I think when you're looking at the two players on a football pitch, Luis Diaz just looks dynamite, man. He looks absolutely.
Does he have the decision making of Kulusevski, though?
Who knows? Who knows? Time will tell. They've both been here for literally a handful of games, but I think that if you give me the choice, Kulusevski or Diaz, for the money that they spent on Diaz and for the money that we spent on Kulusevski, I'm choosing Diaz.
Thing is, it's an interesting one because Diaz, I agree with you, is a better player right now. So I guess it depends how you define better signing, because Diaz could be a very good player for Liverpool, very good player for like the next 4 or 5 years. But then Kulusevski could be a very good player for us for like 10 years. Like, who knows? So then depends how you define better signing. But I think Diaz is a better player right now. I think we can both agree on that. So if you're saying who signed the better player, I think Diaz probably gets the
factor of the matter is, right, we've got Antonio Conte manager, and I think that we want to be buying players that are on that level right now. I know Kulusevski's doing really well, and I think he's got obviously a high ceiling to go, and I'm very happy with him. I'm not saying I'm not, but I think Luis Diaz is a top talent, and I really think he can go very far in this game.
You could make an argument, though, that for us, Kulusevski could be a better signing considering he plays on the right.
Yeah.
And whereas Diaz plays on the left.
Yeah.
And that was always what we needed.
Yeah.
So there's an argument there. But yeah, I don't think Kulusevski is a better player.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Dara O'Brien says, had we invested better in January 2021 and the fans had more patience with Mourinho tactics instead of insisting on playing the Tottenham way, we could have continued contesting the league and defo won a trophy.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Who did we buy last January? Do we buy anyone?
January?
And Mourinho. Because we had a big summer with Doherty and Vinicius and Bale, and did you sign anyone in January?
It was the January before where we made a few signings. I don't think we made any signings last January.
Yeah, we didn't make any signings, did we? I'm trying to remember. No, we didn't.
No, it was January before where we signed Bergwijn and Jedson and all those characters.
And that's when the wheels started falling. I've started falling off a bit before that, but yeah, it was more like late December, early January. That's when the wheels started coming off a bit.
So he's saying last January, if we would have signed someone, we could have gone on to win something.
Potentially. I mean, we got FA Cup, we lost 5-4, didn't we? We lost 3-0 to Zagreb in the Europa League. So maybe with a few fresher faces, maybe it could have been different. But I don't know. I don't know if we would have continued contesting for the league, I think was destined to fall short of that.
I think the rot had probably already set in by then, to be fair.
Maybe we could have won the trophy.
Well, to be honest, that's when the wheels started to fall off, isn't it? When we lost to Liverpool, when we lost to all those
late
games
December,
there.
early January.
That's when. So maybe actually, if we would have invested then maybe we could have turned it around quickly.
What we said, had the fans had more patience, though. Do you think fans ran out of patience?
I definitely think the fans should have had more patience. I genuinely think so, because we were onto something good. You saw in that first half of the season, up until December, we were onto something good, and then one thing went wrong and everything fell apart.
Yeah.
I think that maybe if we brought 2 or 3 quality players in there, it could have changed something. Yeah, it could have done.
All right.
I'll move on to the next one. The next one is from Nathaniel Morris, saying Doherty is going to be the best fullback since Walker. That's because we haven't had any good fullbacks.
Yeah, exactly. But says more about our fullbacks than Doherty. But he's probably put in the 2 best fullback performances since Walker. But because I think Aurier has had some good games, but probably never as good as that. But then again, I think Trippier is better than Doherty, so I disagree with that. I think Trippier is better than Doherty.
But Trippier kind of like declined a bit after Walker left. It was Trippier's best moments was when Walker was still here, wasn't it?
Yes and no. I think in the first season after Walker left, he was still pretty good. In that second season, he wasn't great. He was there for 4 years, Trippier. I still think to be honest, I still think even at his worst, he's still better than Doherty.
Fair enough.
So
did he ever put in
there.
performances like Doherty put in against Everton?
Not in his final season, he didn't. Not that I could remember. But I think in the season before that, he had some good performances. Trippier.
But even Aurier had some brilliant performances. 6-1 at Old Trafford. Tranmere in the cup.
Tranmere. I think Trippier was better than Doherty. I wouldn't say it. I don't think Doherty's will be seen as better than Trippier. Definitely,
Yeah.
no, I disagree.
Well, here's my unpopular opinion. Serge Aurier still gets in this team right now.
I think that's true at the moment. Not the way Doherty's playing, but 100%. I think Aurier could do well in this system, and we cancelled his contract at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Jake Mod says, "What's the point in aiming for top 4 if Conte can only handle 1 game a week?"
Money,
exactly. Money for a rebuild. Look, it is a decent point, but we just got to hope that next season, first of all, with the preseason Conte's going to get, hopefully, if we get more investment to increase the depth of quality in the squad, then we can handle 2 games in a week. Right now, it seems as though if we go unchanged for 2 games in a week, we struggle to handle it. But maybe next season it will be a different story with all those factors considered.
To be fair, though, it does seem like it's a similar situation in all his clubs.
Yeah. Although he has proved a couple of times that he couldn't potentially juggle them.
I mean, he got to the final of the Europa League with Inter Milan.
Yeah, and finished second.
But I can't really remember the run he had there.
To the final.
Yeah, I can't remember if he played any decent sides or not, because you can get to the final of the Europa League in quite an easy run if you're lucky.
Yeah, I can't remember who they played. I just remember they lost to Seville in the final.
Yeah, so look, I think there's definitely some truth to this. About Conte only being able to play 1 game a week. I think we've seen it at Spurs so far in the little time he's been here. We saw it at Chelsea, but
he did get to in his first season at Chelsea as well. He won the league and he did get to the final, the FA Cup, didn't he?
FA Cup, yeah.
Yeah, not Champions.
FA
he
Cup,
wasn't in the
FA
Europe.
Cup could be 1 game a week because FA Cup was in the weekends then.
Yeah, but you always have to make up for it at some point, don't you? If you stay in the whole way. If you go to the final, you have to play some
the league
games
will get moved to the midweek.
Yeah, you have to play some games midweek. So I think it is a problem, but I think it's a problem you can sort out. I don't think it's a problem that's destined to always be a problem, if you know what I mean.
Hope so. All right, next up is from Marcelo.
Marcelo!
Long time, man. And he says, Son's form hasn't been bad. It's the lack of attacking and creative quality within the team that has made him look worse.
But he's had chances. You know what I mean? He's getting in behind a lot of times. So I don't think... I think people are judging him right now for what he... I think people right now are judging for what he isn't doing compared to what he is doing. So I think people, for example, against Everton, he scores a goal, he sets up like through 2 or 3 chances, but people walk away from it saying he's had a bad game because he also missed a couple of chances, and he sometimes at some moments didn't look at his sharpest. But I think that's a bit harsh. I think if you're doing as much as he did against Everton, for me, he had a good game. And yeah, he could have done better with a few other moments, but he also did very well in a lot of moments. So I don't think he's playing badly right now as much as people have been getting on his back for some reason. I think he's playing okay.
I think with Heung-min Son, we all know what he can bring to the table consistently, game in, game out, getting in behind, working, driving at the other team, scoring quality goals, making assists as well, consecutively or consistently. And I think right now you're seeing level of performances that are worse than his previous level of performances. And I think that's just all it's down to. It's not that he's not one of the best players in the team, because he clearly is in the top 2 players of this football team. And I think that what we've seen from Son before has been better in terms of contributing to games week in, week out. Right now we're seeing, yes, he's still scoring and getting assists, but I think that his prior form, like the first half of last season, what we saw from him was absolutely in a different class, in a different world, in my opinion, to what we're seeing now.
Okay, but yeah, fine, but that was an unsustainable run of form he was on at the beginning of last season.
People were always going to go back to his best form to look at.
He couldn't even keep it last season, keep that up. It was impossible. He was never going to keep up that run of form. I think right now we're seeing a very consistent Liverpool. I don't know why he's coming in for criticism, to be honest. I don't really understand it. I don't think he's at that level he was last season for that period. But I think that's the best period he's ever been in his whole career. I don't think he's ever had that level of performance before, like he did last season. I think right now he's only second to Salah this season for goal contributions, 11 goals and 5 assists. I think he's third top goal scorer in the Premier League. I think in his last 12 Premier League games he's got 7 goals and 4 assists, and I think he's creating chances as well. And he's missed a few for sure, but I think he's contributing really well to the team, and he's also playing in a position I think he's learning as well. I don't think it's his most natural position for him, but I feel the more he plays it, the better he's getting at it. And so I'm pretty happy with Son at the moment.
Yeah, look, I don't think that he's on terrible form. I don't think he's on bad form. I think he's playing well, and I think that he's getting goals and assists consistently, and his numbers are clearly providing for us, and you can see that with your own eyes. But I just think when you're looking at him on the football pitch, it's not as convincing as maybe as it used to be.
I just think if it wasn't Son, people wouldn't even be looking at that and thinking his form is not that good. I just feel like he's got such high expectations that even if he's playing very well, people are expecting more from him.
That's because of the quality of the player.
Yeah, but he's doing well. I don't think he can do much more right now.
Fair enough. All right, that brings a close to episode 2 of the Unpopular Opinions. Let me know your thoughts on all the unpopular opinions that we spoke about today in the comments section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.